your target market, to understand who you're talking to, and to know where you should connect with them. That is crucially important. And the platform that you select needs to answer those needs. So Marlon, spot on, absolutely. We've got to be very selective in terms of the platform that you choose. And in saying that, Facebook is still one of the largest social media platforms. And if your target audience is there and they spend time there, it's a very good platform to use for your business. However, you need to know whether you choose Facebook or whether you choose LinkedIn or whether you choose any other social media platform, even email marketing. You need to know how to set up your message. So let me just ask the question, how many of you, by just putting up your hand or sending a note in the chat box, how many of you would like to connect better to your target audience? And how many of you would like to learn how to set up a message that can connect with them on any platform, really? Tonight we're just discussing Facebook. So if we can see your feedback on there, Leonard, thank you very much. Appreciate your feedback on that. So great. So we're very fortunate, thanks Jane. We live in a very special time right now where we've got literally the world at our fingertips, and communication and marketing is becoming more and more important every day. So I'd like to just begin with the end in mind, as Barry taught us, as he always begins. And that comes from, of course, from Stephen Covey. Let's begin with the end in mind tonight, as we always do on this platform, and ask you the question, why would you want to do marketing? Why would you want to do marketing? Why would you want to get your message out there in any given way, shape, or form? And what's quite profound is, over the last couple of weeks, we've been teaching in Uncovering Greatness a number of entrepreneurs, in fact, hundreds of entrepreneurs, how to set up and how to connect with their customers. And one of the things that came out from there, and that was an absolute resounding message, is this. And maybe you want to get a notebook and a pen, maybe you want to make some notes. However, this is quite important, that marketing is a very distinct discipline. And if you consider marketing is all about one thing. Marketing is simply this. And the purpose of tonight is also to make things very, very simple. See, marketing has got one basic function, and it is this. Marketing is all about attracting new customers into your business and attracting more business from your current customers. So how many of you can associate with that you want to keep things simple? And how many of you want to simply attract more people into your business? So this is literally what marketing is. And tonight, we're going to keep things extremely simple, because what we've seen in teaching various different entrepreneurs about marketing and about setting up your message is that people are trying to easily complicate things. So how many of you just want to keep things simple tonight? Let me ask you that. And keep your marketing message simple and get people to connect with you. So thanks for your feedback there. So marketing is all about attracting people. And if you consider the sales funnel and the starting point, let me just ask you, how many of you have seen a sales funnel before? How many of you have never seen a sales funnel before? So in marketing, and in marketing, we're at the top of the sales funnel. So literally, if you consider it, just to have a quick look, if that's a sales funnel, there's all sorts of things that happens down line here, and marketing is sitting right here at the top. Marketing is sitting right there where you want to get leads into your business. So marketing is all about attracting customers, and sales is all about closing customers in your sales funnel. So that's the distinction. So we're going to spend time here tonight. So remember this, that marketing is all about attracting new customers. And if you would like to interact, please type up in the chat box. We'd love to hear from you there. So if marketing sits at the top of the sales funnel, we've got to have a look before we set up a message, just how customers buy. How do people buy? And that's one of the things that we miss as entrepreneurs very often in our messages that we send out there. So Barry has taught you before, so this is not new for you. And if you've attended his Sales and Leadership Mastery Program, in fact, there's a meeting happening tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at the Nickel. I would really urge you to attend that meeting. But at his Sales and Leadership Marketing, at his Sales and Leadership Mastery Program, he teaches this, that people buy based on this. People buy on emotion. And actually, there's a second component that comes in here that we don't think about. We buy on emotion, and then what we do after that is we justify on logic. So now, how many of you consider this process when you're setting up a message, whether it's on Facebook or on LinkedIn or anywhere really in your marketing material? Are you adding an emotional component, and are you adding a logical component? So if you go and have a look, at any ads on Facebook or at any messages on Facebook, or you go and have a look at your current marketing material, in fact, do you cover both these areas? Do you cover emotion, and do you cover logic? So really want to urge you, go and have a look at your material, go and see, because this is how we buy. We buy on emotion, and then we justify on logic. So how many of you have experienced this before? You have a certain thing that you really, really like. So let's say for the guys out there, maybe you like a very good and a fast car, a car with an absolute strong engine, and that just goes. And if you look at it, if you consider it, and you want to go and buy it, what happens inside of you? Now, are there certain emotions that comes up? Are you getting excited about it? And then when you actually go and make the purchase, when you can go and make that purchase, when you go and buy it, how do you justify it? How do you bring it home, and how do you justify it to your partner? So can you associate with this? Just type up in the chat box. We in fact discussed the very same example last week about a simple thing as a chocolate. Some of us girls, we really love a chocolate. And then when you have that craving, when you want to go and get a chocolate, are you then in an emotional state? And what are you telling yourself? Oh, I've worked so hard, I deserve it. And then how do you justify that emotion? Let's see if we can mute this mic. Marlon, can you maybe assist me? So I'm going to ask you all to mute your mic.
It's because of the orange.
See, can I ask you just to mute your mic there, please? Let's just see if you can all mute your mics. That will be great. Okay. So thank you for that. So that is the process that we buy. Are you adding both these things into your elements, into any marketing elements that you're working with? Do you have that as a process as you set up your material? So how many of you would like to know a simple 3-step process, how you can set up an element? How many of you would like to build that on any social media platform? Okay, so let's see. Any interest there? Yes, please. Yes, from some of you. Great. There's the messages coming through now. Good. So this is a simple process that you can literally follow with any message that you put together. And we're just going to discuss the simple process. I'll show you one example. If you would like to get more information, then obviously you need to connect with Barry. You need to connect with us again. So here's the simple 3-step process. I hope you've got your pens and papers ready. This is absolutely profound. And this will help you to keep messages simple and to certainly get your message across through the clutter that's out there with many, many messages online. So It starts literally with this. Any marketing, literally any marketing element, you can build like this in your business through a simple 3-step process. So you would literally start with this. We call it earn the right. Now, earn the right, how many of you have heard of earn the right before? Some of you, maybe? Okay. So how many of you have never heard of earn the right before? So earn the right is all about how are you building trust with people? How are you connecting with your target audience for them to believe in who you are? Earn the right is all about how you set up credibility. How are you showing people out there that you are credible for them to do business with you? So again, I would urge you, if you haven't yet, to attend Barry's meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock at the Nickel Hotel. He will teach you a bit about Earn the Right in his 2.5-day course. But if you'd like to get some more information, Earn the Right is all about how you set up credibility. How do you show people what experience you have, who you are, and what you've done? And Earn the Right is a process that happens in marketing every single time. Why should you trust me to do business with you? So Earn the Right is your very first step in marketing. So go and have a look, and I'll show you another example just now before we end off how to earn the right. Go and study some examples online. Most importantly, see if you can connect with Barry to learn more about earning the right through his Sales and Leadership Mastery program. So that is absolutely key. So you can do it in simple ways by stating how much experience you have, what your name is, and literally how you're serving customers and what you're doing. So remember that you want to connect with your audience through emotion and through logic. So that's earn the right. That's where we start. The second step in marketing is this. In any of your marketing elements, you need to start to ask questions. So asking questions to do this. Asking questions to connect to the emotion of your customer and to the logic. Remember that your customers buy on emotion and on logic. And the emotional component comes in for you to understand what their frustrations are. We spend a whole lot of time on this process for you to understand what their frustrations are when we teach about marketing. So if you consider your customers, do you understand what keeps them awake at night? Do you understand what makes them angry? Do you understand what emotions come up? How many of you know your customers like that? How many of you can almost go into their world and connect with them by feeling what they're feeling? And then, how many of you can take that and put it across in a logical way as well, as a question? Do you know that we don't just always buy on how we feel? We also want to make logical decisions. So the questions that you ask will start with an emotional component. It's important to build questions like that. So for example, is your slow sales at the moment keeping you awake or giving you sleepless nights? That's an emotional question. And then a logical question might be, would 10 to 20 new customers in the next 3 months give you better sleep over the Christmas holidays? Just as 2 simple examples. So go and think what your customers struggle with and set up questions from an emotional component that you are lighting up and firing up emotion, and then from a logical component to link with that. So the second piece in setting up a marketing element is asking questions. And then the third piece is key to finish it off. And that is what we call a call to action. You know, if you go and have a look at marketing elements or advertisements on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you go and have a look, that call to action, is it there? Are you taking your customer? Are you taking your customer along this road to attract them further and further into your sales funnel? Are you moving them closer and closer into your business by asking them to do something? And when you have a call to action, is it simple? Is it literally something like, maybe if you're setting up a Facebook ad, click below to register for our next online meeting, or type in the comments box, type up your email address in the comments box to be connected to one of our consultants. Whatever the thing that you want your audience to connect with, are you doing that? Are you calling them to do and take that action? And is it simple and is it clear? So for those of you who are seeing this for the first time tonight, does this make sense to you, these 3 steps? I'd like to see some feedback from you in the chat box below. Does it make sense to you? Let's just see, there's a couple of comments coming through. So we start with earning the right. How do you earn the right? Thanks, Jane. How do you start to create credibility, form trust by stating who you are as a business, what you do, what your stats are in business? How do you do that? Just how do you build that up? And then secondly, how do you ask questions to connect to the emotion of your customers and to the logic? Thank you for your feedback. And thirdly, the third component is key. How do you ask them to do something? Take a call to action. How do you ask them to move forward into your sales funnel? So those are the 3 components. So what I'll briefly do, I see some feedback from you, is, Marlon, I'm going to share my screen briefly with the team, the guys, that they can see. Here's an example. So can you all see my screen? If I can ask you for feedback, I would appreciate it if you can just maybe type a note in the chat box. Let me see. So Marlon, I can't see the chat box. Can you see my screen? Anyone? Yes. Marlon?
Screen is showing.
Great, there we go. Okay. Excellent. So this is a basic example that I want to show you, and it was done on Facebook, and then I just pulled it in Word. So here you can see a specific visual at the bottom that we added. The reason for it being written up like this is because that's the way we train and teach. We train and teach on flip charts, so that's why it's written up like that. So it's important to be, we call it authentic in your marketing. So to add an image that is connected to your business. So I'll ask you just to mute your microphones there. Thank you very much. So the visual you choose is important to link to your material. That's why we chose that visual. So yeah, in the top part you can see there is an example of earn the right. So that is just what we've done and what experience we have. And then the second part of the formula is asking questions. So are you tired of spending thousands of rands and hours on marketing with no new business to show for it? That's the emotional question. Would 10 to 20 customers in the next 3 months end your sleepless nights over the December holidays? So 2 questions. So can you go and build some questions and a question bank to link to the frustrations, the emotions that your customers have that you're going to alleviate and solve? And the language that you use, Leonard, you also know this very well, is incredibly important, because you speak a certain language on Facebook, a more lighter, more informal language, and you speak a much more formal language on LinkedIn, a platform like that, because that's more business orientated. Then here at the bottom, we've got the call to action. If that's the case, then register for this event. to set up your marketing engine and to be selected as one of 3 entrepreneurs for a marketing consultation. So this is a very simple example of a text-intensive Facebook ad. I can now take this and I can change this into a little video and do exactly the same thing on Facebook. In fact, on Facebook, videos at the moment and vlogs are getting a lot more airtime, so it's a video log, getting a lot more airtime versus anything else. So that's in a nutshell, very short and sweet, how to capture your message and a message that will resonate, that you will make sure you get attention and attraction from your customers. So let's see what feedback is there. Feedback from Kim in terms of the question. So does this make sense to you guys? Please type up in the chat box. Let me see what your thoughts are on this. Have you done your ads like this before? Have you looked at ads before? Does it look like this? Let's hear. So William is saying, is the idea to capture all 3 areas in your marketing material or on one discussion? So William, very important question. So that's the formula. This is the formula. So how do you build this into one element? So if you consider your marketing, how can you build all of these elements in? It's crucial to have all 3 of those elements in. Does that answer your question? Let's see, William. Great. So there's ways that you can build it that it's shorter. For example, just take your text, write it out, and make sure that you simplify. Simplify your questions, make it shorter. What I've learned from Barry and what I've learned from him again and again over the last couple of months, and it has literally revolutionized the way that we do business, that I teach as well, and it makes a massive impact, is this. If a 6-year-old can understand it, that's the message that you want to get out there. How many of you drive past billboards and you see the billboard, or you see an ad, or you look at an ad on any platform and it's just, what did it say? Or you can't even remember. So I've just learned that when I keep it simple, when I take it right down to basics, that a 6-year-old can understand, that then makes sense to get a message across. And I get capturing of a much wider part of the audience that I want to connect with. So William, very good question. Great. I see Milka says good. CTA is a call to action. Very good question. So call to action, and that call to action needs to be simple. It can simply be something like, give us a call on this number, or send us your email address to receive a connection from us. So keep it as short and sweet as you possibly can. Let's see, Kim is saying, if you're doing call to action on MailChimp, is there any guideline on the size of the call to action button? So far, my call to actions are not clicked on. So Kim, a very important question. So color is incredibly important on social media. Maybe you want to play with the color. Maybe you want to change the color of the button, see if you can make it a more vibrant button. On social media, on mail, anything you send out on screen, you want to have it as colorful and actually as loud as you possibly can. So the rules online is slightly different than the rules that you would have had in normal traditional marketing. I hope that helps you. So go and experiment with it, make it bigger or smaller. I unfortunately can't give you exact information in terms of the size of the button. I think go and have a look at it, go and see what it works and how it works when you change it. Hope that answers your question. Then Leonard is saying, for me, it's moving from, okay, great, from Theox wagon to the self-drive cars. Great. Leonard, I'm not sure what a Theox wagon is. Maybe you can give me some information on that. I've just learned I'm honest. If I don't know something, I will tell you. So if you can maybe elaborate a bit on that, that will be great. But yeah, we are in an era where we are working on platforms in marketing and in business that are essentially self-drive, you know, where technology is moving over, things are developing in different ways. The Oxwagon, thank you very much. I've got that. Thank you, William. Yeah, so we're moving from Oxwagon to self-drive, and you know what? It's important for us as business owners to understand how marketing works. It is critically important. You can go to a design agency, like we've got a design agency ourselves as well, and you can give us information and tell us this is how we want to build our business. But we've just learned that is why we've got a passion to teach people how to do it themselves, because how many of you can associate with this? You know your business best. And how many of you want to stay in that driver's seat? You know, even if it's a self-drive car, don't you want to steer it into a certain direction of where you want to go? What the reason is why you started your business in the first place. So it's critically important that you start to understand how marketing works and that you can link up with that. So great. Kim says she likes to be the driver. Let's see. William saying, if your business have different offerings, will you develop marketing material for each offering, or can we integrate all in one? Yeah, William, that's a very good question. So I've just learned this, that less is more. You know, what do you want to focus on? What are you focusing on in your marketing elements at the moment? People are bombarded these days with hundreds and hundreds of messages. Can you get one marketing message through? Can you build on that? Do you want to build a story and develop something and then later on have something else? Or do you want to drive one marketing message on one platform and bring another one through in another platform or in another way? It's critical that you keep your marketing decluttered and that you keep your message simple and succinct. So try and keep it clear. Less is more. I hope that answers your question. Certainly, you will build a message for each marketing element that you develop. So let's see, are there any other messages? No, so no other messages. So great, William. So I think it's critically important, I mean, just on the question that Leonard started, that you go and understand who your target audience is. That's where marketing starts. If you want to do this, if you want to attract, that is what marketing does. You need to know what? You need to know who you want to attract. So my question to you tonight is very simple. Do you know who you want to attract? Can you see that customer of yours, your ideal customer, we call them in marketing? Can you see them almost, if you close your eyes, as a three-dimensional image in front of you? How much do you know about them? Do you know what language they use? Do you literally know what their struggles are, what they're frustrated with? You know, do you know where to find them? So if you'd like to know how to build that, then maybe ask Barry tomorrow in his course. He has a meeting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Nickel Hotel, as I said. He focuses tomorrow on the sales and leadership mastery, but maybe ask him that question. Thank you, Mari. He will be able to direct you a bit more. There's a lot more information that we can give you on that, and make sure that you understand exactly how to build that target audience for yourself. Let's see, are there any more questions? Anything else you'd like to know on marketing?
Sorry, Delian, I see.
Marlon, any questions from your side?
Yeah, Kim has a question. It was...
Let's see what is... The one marketing message is complicated for me. Our event coordinators want to see what the latest and new stuff. So how do I keep the message simple? Very good question, Kim. So Kim, how do you think you can do it if you consider what event coordinators want to know? They want to know the latest and new stuff. And Kim, your business is in You are in branding, branded elements, corporate gifts and clothing. Thank you. So, so Kim, how can you keep it simple? How can you give them one message only? You know, if you think about earning the right, you can set up that one message. You can ask questions around what is their, if you can type up in the chat box, what is their biggest frustration? They want to see latest and greatest. What is their biggest frustration in terms of that? Can you maybe type that up for me, please? What are their latest frustrations in terms of seeing, or what are their frustrations in terms of seeing the latest and greatest? So as Kim is typing up, my suggestion on that would be to ask them questions that is focused on, you want to maybe, let's see, they keep seeing the same things. Okay, so if you want, Kim, if you want them to focus and see the latest and greatest, maybe you can have one specific edition that focuses on a line of items, and then click here to get more information, or send us a question on what information that you want, that you can build it up in weekly messages. So that might be a way that you can do it, so that you can say, send us feedback on what you'd like to see. This week we're going to focus on this line, and next week we're going to focus on that line, etc. Just what I've found is the clearer, the more clear and simple you keep it, the better in terms of your output to your audience. So if they're interested in something that you're sending them out, can you get them interested again? Or can you then have a call to action to say, if you'd like to see more of the latest and greatest, send your email address. Or if you want to see more of the latest and greatest in this sector, give us a call. Something like that, to get more two-way communication going. So does that answer your question? Good. Jane is saying, can you change the order of the 3 elements? Do the ask first. So Jane, you can start with a simple question. Yes, absolutely. Just what I've learned is that when I keep it as simple as this, and I start with the earn the right, and then ask a question, and then have the call to action, it works the best. I have seen it work with one very short question, and then go into earn the right and ask a question and call to action. The key is this, that you've got only a couple of seconds to link up with someone, to get their attention, to attract them. How are you going to do it? For us, we work with this formula, and it's working very well. Marketing is about experimentation as well. So one of the things that you need to do is go and test your marketing. So maybe test it and see how it works for your audience. Test it this way, test it with a short question, and test it if you keep this formula, and see what works best for you. I hope that works. I hope that answers your question. Good. Any other questions? Let's see, Leonard, my market is very one-dimensional. Walk in and introduce my product elevator in intro. Okay. Leonard, what type of market do you have? If you don't mind to divulge a bit more on that. If you say it's very one-dimensional, what area of business are you in? Let's see. So while Leonard is typing up, you know, if he says walk in an elevator intro. So if you have customers like that, motor industry parts, good. So then, Leonard, a lot of your customers are kind of get to the point. Am I understanding it correctly? Or they know what they want? Is that how it is, mostly? So if it's a parts person, you know, are you finding that they often, okay, great. So they know what they want, they know what parts it is, they know what they've used before. So absolutely, in that elevator intro, Barry calls it the elevator pitch. You know, can you very succinctly, very shortly put an earn the right together? How long you've been in the industry, what you've done, how you served your customers, and then ask a short question. Can you make it incredibly short? Can you make it less than 50 words and work it down and get it shorter and shorter? And can you use that elevator intro, elevator pitch, as Barry calls it, that formula of essentially credibility or earning the right, asking questions and having a call to action, can you adjust it? You know, can you identify what issues those clients had in the last month or two on motorpods? What comebacks did they have? Or what frustrations did they have? And how can you overcome that? I hope that helps you. Does it? Let me know, please, Leonard. So how can you take this formula of earning the right, asking questions and call to action and build it different every time? Use the same formula, keep it incredibly short and sweet, and deliver value. That is the key. And you'll see, guys, the more you practice it, the more you do it, the more you start to adjust it to absolutely any single thing. So in our business, with regards to teaching marketing, that's one way where I use this elevator pitch, or this way, so of bringing more customers into your business. Then we've got a design agency. And one of the issues there is our customers are looking for quick turnaround times, and the thing should be right the first time that it comes in. So then I'll say that in our Earn the Right, we've got and the name of our business, we've got more than 30 years of experience in marketing and design, graphic design specifically. So are you tired of things, of your work or your campaigns coming back with errors all the time, and you have to redo it over and over and over again? Or another question might be, would visuals that just make sense and is aligned to your business, that can talk and connect to your audience, change your hit rate on your marketing material or on your advertisements? And then a call to action, connect with us online and our web address, or call us on this number to set up an obligation-free quotation, or to set up a quick 30-minute touch base. So how can you do it? How can you take those issues and new elevator pitch? I hope, Leonard, that helps. William is saying, what is the frequency of getting marketing message out to client base? Should messages follow on each other like building blocks to create awareness and eventually lead to sales? Very, very good question, William. So take you back to this. So have a look at your sales funnel. Barry teaches on the sales funnel. So what story are you creating? What are the steps that you're taking someone along the way? So for that, you need to look at what are the different things that you're telling your audience. What's the way that you take them? We call it a journey map. So what's the journey that you want to take your customers on? How do you build that? So yes, you can create a story. It's important. What you then do is once you start to attract customers onto a certain story, they want to see the next episode, if you want. They want to see the sequel. What's going to happen? What are you bringing to them next? And that's another way to attract more customers. Is it absolutely necessary that it has to be like that? Not necessarily. You've got to go and experiment with it. I would say that it's very important to get a message out to your customers as a starting point, and to start to experiment. If you haven't got a story planned yet, don't let that stop you. Start to get your messages out there and then build your story if you want, but keep it simple. Keep it incredibly simple. Okay, I hope that helps you. Then we've got another comment. I have used Facebook marketing. It becomes a bit limiting because they guide and very strict with the way the adverts are supposed to be crafted. Any thoughts on that? So very good comment. So on Facebook, there's rules and regulations that is changed. It's called algorithms. It's just a word. It's changed often, yes. And you've got to go and have a look. You know, what I always will say to you is this platform working for you? Is that the right platform to connect with your target audience? It is still one of the best platforms out there to connect with the most customers, if you have a look at the numbers that it brings in. However, I'm not saying that it's the right platform for you. So you've got to go and have a look at who's your audience. Are they connecting on Facebook? And then you've got to go and have a look at, tonight what we're talking about is not paid advertising. that's a total different ball game. That's a total different setup. There's different rules that applies there. This is just getting your message out there on Facebook. So this is a starting point to start to go out and attract more people into your business. And what I would suggest is go and try out one platform, compare it to the next. However, keep it simple. Don't go out there and start 4, 5, or 6 different platforms and you're spending all your time attracting customers, but then you start not to have any sales at the bottom because you're actually not doing real work that you can build. So that balance between sales and marketing is absolutely crucial. I hope that answers your question. So certainly there's no platform that's the be all and end all. The basics is it's like learning a new language. It's like learning a new craft or a skill. Can you learn how to do the basics? And that is what we aim to put out there for you tonight. How do you get the right message out there? How do you start to experiment? I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Marlon, I don't see any more questions there. Are there any questions from your side?
Nothing that I can see, Adelian. I think everything is, nothing new.
Great. Excellent. So I hope this added value to you. Let me see in the chat box. Can I just see a thumbs up or a yes it did or a food for thought or anything like that? Would appreciate to see your feedback. Great. Excellent. So what I would suggest, thank you guys, is please go out there and practice this. Just start. Barry always says that, he asks the question, are you in the game? Are you actually playing the game? You've got to be out there. You've got to play the game. You've got to have your business out there. So are you in the game? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you taking risks as an entrepreneur and in your business? And are you prepared to get some feedback from your customers? Because that's also what marketing is about. You'll get feedback. However, I've seen Robert Kiyosaki just tweet a couple of weeks ago something to the extent of those who get feedback and getting criticism are actually people who are doing something. So if you're not getting any feedback, if you're not getting any criticism, maybe it's because you're not doing something. So how many of you rather would want to get some feedback and criticism and actually do something? And how many of you are prepared to take that feedback from people where it matters and to then actually start to implement it? So great. So Marlon, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you tonight a bit about how to get the right message on Facebook or on any social media platform. And it's really been a good insight for me in terms of the questions as well, and great to connect with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delian, and to everybody else joining us this evening. Yes, once again, all of this will be available on the site in the resources section. If you go to the webinars, you'll be able to get all these webinars. Otherwise, see you next week. It'll be on the finance side of finance education side of things. So I hope you guys had good value this evening, and thank you very much. Thank you, Delian.
Thanks, guys. Hope you can be at the meeting tomorrow morning at 9. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Maury.